Yo, what's up guys? Let's do a little bit of limit testing on this Shumar. We can't use it just yet until the 28th of March. Then you can finally use it, but then there's Special League without LDs, so you still can't really use it. So let's just give this some time while we're also waiting for the balance patch, which will probably be as again. Let's just see how that goes. So we're just trying to do some fun things over here. So let's limit test Shumar in a scenario where I would use it similar to how I would use it in RTA. But also, let's just go, we like big numbers, we press like. And for that, we're gonna do some normal arena for both of them. But first, let's go to the highest damage output build that I can make, which apparently is this set. It's a combination of high attack, high speed, and high crit damage. Of course, the crit rate is fixed by the passive itself, assuming we would outspeed on this kind of speed, which is not that common, but for the testing of highest damage output, we probably will. Then let's add a little bit of crit damage over here. Speed increasing effect could also be good on him, but it's just depending on where you have the best combination lines. So let's just use something like this. Bit of crit damage, bit of speed up, and that kind of good stuff. And in this case, we're gonna hit the Vermos on pretty low defense, just to see big numbers. And in this case, we're gonna go for some really big, unrealistic numbers by just adding in the Deborah and Brand plus defense break from this thing. And of course, attack buff, speed buff from you, but let me actually give that some proper runes that we can outspeed my own unit. I'm not even sure if this is fast enough. Should be fast enough to outspeed, right? And then this thing is fast enough to outspeed that. Let me know in the comments, how much do you think a skill 2 on this will actually do on this Variables right now with pretty low defense? It's gonna be 100k? 200k? More? I don't know. Okay, that already does do a lot of damage, to be honest. Okay, so we have... I wouldn't be surprised if we're doing like far over like 300k. I was close on the 300k though, but that's an overkill and a half right there. That's a lot of stupid damage. Holy shit. And the speed buff is actually even self-providing, so wow. Yeah, I don't think you get much more damage than this out there. But then again, would you actually use a build like this in PvP? I don't think so. Well, maybe for Siege. Siege, you could get away with it. But let's go for a more realistic build that I would use in RTA. We'll give him this for a Violent Will kind of build. We do have the 50 crit rate. We have decent enough on the other stats. But in this case, you definitely want to go for artifacts that are HP based rather than attack based. Because in the end, most of his damage comes from speed anyways. This looks decent for the artifact on a little bit of crit damage improvers. And this could kind of work for... well, whatever we're trying to hit. Would remove the minus fire in the case that I would actually use it. But just giving it an idea. And as mentioned, we're going to go into normal arena because this is where we can actually test it. And we're trying to go for some comps that I would normally have in RTA as well. Plus then this thing. So into some insane bruisery shit right there. Let's just go for, let's say that I have an Eretion plus a Zhongshan Lao. It would be nice, actually, if the Zhongshan Lao would move in front of this thing to defense break, but I think you just want to speed chase him that much. This skill is such a low cooldown that you just take your first turn, probably not going to snipe anything, but you just use it as a bruiser unit. Let's just go for the double up on those two, and let's copy all of the runes that I have on RTA just because I'm lazy, and I kind of pray that I don't take any of the runes from the Shumar. Otherwise, gotta switch the Shumar out a little bit itself. Okay, one rune is from the Shumar over here, so let's switch that one out for a second. I do really like flat HP on him. Flat HP gives a lot of value for adding extra HP to the whole unit, because his base HP is just horrendously bad. Therefore, I think it's a must-to-go HP mains on the artifact. Plus, he has the extra damage decrease from being faster than the enemy. You definitely only want to late pick this unit, because the moment they Leo this thing, he loses its complete passive, and then it's just not as good. So let's see the Bruiser fight like this, which is potentially a pretty annoying fight. Just 9k on the starting hit, so kind of looks like you would like to have a death break. Of course, this is a very solid and sophisticated cleave team out there, which is pretty much absolutely the meta. But just kind of seeing where and how he fits in, so... was he doing 26k on the skill 1 on a death break? That is something. Holy. I'm curious to see what the S2 will do right now. So, can we take you out? We can't take you out. How much is this gonna do? 28k as well. Wow, that's just simply a lot of damage for how fast he is. That's because he's already taking another turn. Another 24k. This... I would be surprised if he doesn't survive the next balance patch already. Sure, like, the whole other team, like, kind of cleared him and stuff. But just for the sheer facts of how much damage output he had, That's really insane. So let's go for a more Bruiser-ish setup without going super CC Cleave kind of style. So let's say we end up with a draft, something along the lines of this. And also my Megumi and Shiho, they're pretty much on the build edit. And also the other two units, or well, oh no, wait, I did not put the Seimei on the right set. Well, Seimei doesn't have the RTA set just yet. She still has the full Despair tanky set that is normally used next to a Leo. So not really the craziest of sets, but wow, also just fire procking at this kind of speed feels insane. It feels wrong. Okay, so we do get our hits in over there. I do hope to get this stunt. Did get that stunt. Let's go for Death Break on you. You will hit that. Not too much damage on the Shumar just yet. If the Shumar gets slowed, it's definitely kind of bad for him. So in this case, he's not even taking that much damage. And fun fact is, his skill 1 is even still scaling of 32k. What the fuck is that damage? But I was saying scaling of speed, which is really nice. But it also, every hit you do on the skill 1 gives you healing, which is really nice. So if we Death Break this, okay, it's Death Broken right now. If we S1 this, we are getting 8k heals for 26k hit. And this unit is hard to kill in the first place because of its passive. This thing is doing a stupid amount of damage. Also, the fact that you have ambush every other turn is just, wow, that's just, this thing is gonna be so crazy strong. So, okay, can we get a Death Break? No Death Break. Death Break? Death Break. Into this, 35k. Man, this thing is gonna get busted, man. Just playing this plus like a Vanessa and Shirt moves all the way front. I don't think you would spam pick it because you want to have it on a later moment that your draft can actually handle it. Otherwise, you're just gonna get Leo'd all the time and people should be Leoing the Shumar every freaking time that you see it. Otherwise, it's just way too freaking strong. But wow, the damage output on this thing for... You just need a Death Break and things disappear. And keep in mind, this is a Fio set. Sure, it's a good Fio set, but it is a Fio set. Okay, so we do have that in on that one. Let's give it a Death Break. Let's give it a Death Break. No Death Break. Let's give it a Death Break. Fuck you. That's also... Wait, I did not have the speed buff just yet, and therefore he was faster than me. Uh-oh, I think I might die over here. That thing is strong, man. Holy. Can we kill it? We can kill it. That's good. Can we stun this? Okay. So now where we can start rocking in some speed. We do lose you. That's not a great thing to lose, but sure thing. Can we get a Death Break? Can we get a Death Break? God damn it. Stuns. Stuns. Well, you're low accuracy, so I wouldn't be surprised if you missed it most of the time. Okay. Can we stun this so your passive doesn't activate later on? Okay, it doesn't full kill as of yet. This is gonna hurt though. I do have speed buff, so it should be faster, so therefore damage decrease, but still good damage. Can we take you out? Yep. Okay, hit on this. No, you killed it. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna win this from now on. I think that the Samath already does kill me, but let's see if Samath can 1v1 the monkey. I think it potentially can. Especially if we get that tower hit in once again. If you miss crit, I could still win. Let's see. Do you crit or not? Does do absolutely no freaking damage. Bye-bye. Was close, though. Was close. Okay, these kind of hits, you definitely don't want to be hitting that because they would just fully AoE CC you. Unless... Well, the issue is, I could stun this due to the Megumi. No, actually, it might kind of work. Let's just see if it works. We're definitely not going to outspeed this because this is a Fio set. Okay, we do have shields in there. Can we maybe break the shield and stun? Nope. And then we got Oblivion, which isn't that great. And we get stunned, which isn't that great. Okay, he did derp though. Derped again. I am fully Oblivion, but if I can get a random stun in on this monkey, as long as I stun the monkey, I might be good to go. That's just the main thing. Stunning this monkey. Okay, that's also where you see Oblivion does lower your damage output by a lot. Okay, if it doesn't proc right now, I think we can still win. Okay, that's good. That's good. Let's stun you again. Yep. Let's take you out. All you need is that. Like, that's just insane for how much damage this Shumar is doing. Stun it. Yep, okay. Let's just start working on the monkey. Monkey does not proc out. Well, that's too bad for him. Also, look at the bar of this thing, man. A few things took a turn, and this thing is just at, like, 200% bar, which for RTA is a little bit better. I'm also proccing like crazy. Because the, what's it called? You have smaller ticks. And because of smaller ticks, being higher on speed has more value. Because right now, you could be faster, but then you're still like tick 4, tick 5 or whatnot. And in RTA, it's a lot closer for the ticks because you have more ticks. And that would make him even better. But the amount of damage output he has for being this hard to kill is just absurd. Like 41k on a defense break on a Vio set, that is tanky. On just the death break. Just the death break. That's just, wow. It is a good set though. Like, don't get me wrong, it is definitely... Like, don't get me wrong, it's definitely a good set. There's a lot of crit damage to it. It's very tanky. It is high on the speed. Probably people will go a bit slower than this, but having the potential of a Vio set outspeeding a Swift set is kind of stupid. Yeah, let's go for a comp like this, man. This thing is gonna be a menace. I really wonder how much his win rate will be. Okay, so that unit is faster than me if I don't have a speed buff. In this case, Seiishizo just wins this whole match, but we do have the Ivor permanently hitting me, which is kind of bad. Good old Manon shenanigans coming in. Death break on that. Okay. That one didn't hurt as much. That one might potentially hurt. Did kind of hurt. Can we attack break this? That's also the thing. If you get full focused, then... yep, Manon. Good old Manon shit. Okay, well, that gives me more healing than it does wrong, actually. Can we... If we push back you, we could potentially even kill. Yep. That is fine. That's a lot of healing. We did crit, even though I think he is faster. So that's the thing you have to keep in mind. Like, if you're fighting Atnas and stuff, if they are actually faster, you will lose your passive. So, for that reason, he does need a pretty good set to shine. Without a good set, I don't think he's not going to do as much. Sure, if he gets the speed buff, he will still definitely outspeed. But there are definitely options where you're not always going to have that speed buff. And that is just something that you have to keep in mind, that at some point you will lose your speed buff in a normal fight. You cannot permanently guarantee your speed buff to be there. And I think that that is also his counter. Plus, a really strong counter against this is just slowing him. The moment that you slow him, he's gonna lose the passive, he's gonna lose all of his damage protection, extra damage increase, his damage output in the first place. So the moment he's slowed, he's actually really weak. The moment you don't have any slow as a counter to him, he's crazy strong. 50k hit on the fucking Bruiser Vio build. Like, what the fuck is that, man? It's like a Sean or a Taylor, but then 10 times worse. Let's see if we can beat something like this. So, Valeska, Nyx, and a Giselle. That looks like a pretty annoying team. I definitely do think we have to start off with hitting you. Can we land that? Can land that. This unit is a god. Well, I think Seiishizo just already kind of wins this, plus whatever Bruiser you put next to it, but just for the idea of it. Okay, we're getting that in. I think you should still always do the S2 because it's just cycling your speed buff. Yeah, I think I should always do the S2 when available. Even if you don't do any damage on it, you still kind of want to do it just to get the damage in. That's just about it. But yeah, Megumi too strong as well. That's also kind of a thing. How much damage? Not that much damage as of yet. And can we clear it? Yep, clear it the first time. I would definitely see that speed buff is really nice on him. The moment you get rid of your speed buff, that's also why proccing on this thing is so nice. But just proccing on the unit that's arguably like 300 something speed. Yay, that's nice. But I definitely do think it's a late pick kind of unit, because what are the good counters against this? Go things like Annabelles. Annabelle with the slow is super strong. Probably even like Carnals and stuff, really strong for... Anything with like AoE slows or multi-hit slows will absolutely do great against him. Plus, of course, Leo. Leo will absolutely I will use him in a fight against a Leo in a second. Just there's probably some Leo on defense, just to kind of showcase like how much of a well, fucked up factor it is for how much weaker this thing gets the moment that there's a Leo on the field. And it will showcase that you can only use this without a Leo. It's definitely going to be a good unit for the people that still like to play the Tableau comp. It's not as common, but Tableau comp with this thing is definitely pretty darn strong, because that is where you can get the guaranteed of your speed buff up on some kind of unit. Sure, they also like to use with single target snipes with ignore defense stuff. But let's try to find... Yeah, this is a Leo comp right here. Let's see how much worse this is for damage, because I think that this is going to be absolutely horrible. So first of all, they are able to do more damage to me in the first place right now. This is also a comp that... Okay, how much damage is this? 2.5k. We did not even crit, because we missed the crit, because the extra crit rate is in... the passive. Also, ooh, Jin might be good against that as well, because Jin is AoE slow on his passive. Yeah, this is also where you see, these things are just shredding me for like how much damage they're doing. I'm still on a somewhat tanky-ish set, so it does kind of work. Oh, whoops, forgot about that one for a second. Can we stun it again? No stun this time. Okay, can you still take your turn? Apparently not. Can we stun this? Nope. Okay. Ooh, same healing though. 10k for a hit over there. But also the damage that I'm getting right now, not having that 50% damage reduction is a lot. It does show that I'm on a good tanky set. That's definitely a thing right there. But wow, it's very noticeable. Okay, that thing will go for the heals. That's a massive heal. Maybe I should actually kill the Leo first. Yeah, let's actually just try to kill the Leo if I actually get my chance to kill the Leo in this case. Okay, hit that. Miss crit. Yep. That's the kind of issue scenarios that you're looking at with this kind of stuff right now. You're just gonna miss your crits. You're not gonna do that much damage. You're not having your damage protection. Everything hits you like a freaking truck. Can we get Death Breaks? No Death Break. I think I have to do this for your protection. Okay. Yeah. Also, not healing that much on the S1 is pretty bad. And we die. So yeah, that's just where you can see Leo crazy hard counter. Never pick this into a Leo, or when the enemy has a Leo, you gotta ban that out. You're pretty much guaranteed to ban it out. Otherwise, your unit has pretty much zero value. Same for like slows. The moment that your enemy already locks in a few slows and you start using it, not that strong. So also, if you're gonna see this on a 4-star siege, probably siege defense, you want to be looking at slows. If you're using it yourself, then make sure you're not fighting any slows. So those are the two main things. Let's do one more battle, and yeah, this thing is just insane. I'm actually gonna give it one set that's slightly faster, just for the fun of it. Right after, it's not gonna be as much of an optimized set. This is definitely an optimized set that I could actually give to it. Just kind of depending if I want to not have the speed, like my fastest rune on the crit damage 4 on this. But yeah, do you also really need will runes at this kind of speed is also kind of the question, right? Like, who's really gonna outspeed you? Why do you need will runes for? It is also one of those things that you have to keep in mind in RTA in particular. If they have a speed lead, you don't have a speed lead, you might get undersped, and therefore you will lose your damage decrease kind of thing. So there's a lot of factors to him in RTA which make him very countable, because yeah, as mentioned, same thing with like a Sonya. If the Sonya team doesn't have a speed lead and you do have a speed lead, you're gonna lower the damage output from that Sonya by a lot. And this thing is kind of the same thing. So in the perfect scenario where you can really choose your battle and choose what you have on the team, he's crazy good. In RTA, I think he's mainly a late pick, but then again, he's full free to play, and well, he might need some room quality to actually shine. But yeah, there's definitely up 28k. I can't get over for how much stupid ass damage that thing is. But let's give it a set. How much is this? 38. That's just insane. Let's give it a set with cranking up the speed by even a little bit more. It's definitely not going to be a realistic set, because you just don't want to give like that much speed without any other stats to it, because I would go speedy, but still overall stats on him. And violent. Of course violent. Then, as mentioned, do we really need will runes? Well, not really. It's that I don't really have a super fast attack 6. This still ends up being a will set, to be honest. I think you still want to go attack rather than anything. So we're still keeping the attack over here, but we're breaking down a lot of the crit rate and other stats. So lowering the crit damage, upping the speed, 206 on a Vio set. Still will on this one. Let's see if this actually does work. Well, my team on defense is kind of half room because I've been stealing some runes from it left and right. And the Triton isn't really on the full set, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that this starts to outspeed these kind of units in the first place. And should be an easy win as well, because it's not really fully ruined, but wow, this thing is, yeah, it's super fast, but you can already see that it's lowering the damage output by a good bit. And still with multi-hits, does do some good damage. No slow on the enemy though, which is good for us. But damage output is a little bit lower, even though we have 13 extra speed. Having that less in crit damage, having that less in attack, does showcase where you do lower your damage output by a fair bit. And if this team was properly ruined, well, most of them still have some runes. It's just that few units lack some speed here and there. Then I would have probably lost this. So yeah, I would say don't go full speed on him. A little bit of a mid-range, still fast, but full speed, it's rather to go for a little bit more of a hybrid set than just a straight up 206 on Vio wheel. The final test that I'm gonna do is, can I snipe my RTA Sonya? And just checking which one is my RTA Sonya. This one is. It is pretty high on the HP and defense for a Sonya in general sense. So it will not be that easy to one-tap it. Let's first test that with the Vio build. I do think I would outspeed this, especially if we are the higher lead. But let's do for a fair assessment test to give you a 33 lead. And it is the, the Sonya with the highest base on its speed that we see over here. Can we one-shot this kind of Sonya? 17k? No, we cannot. If we were to go for the other set that we had earlier, can we do it then? And then it's also kind of the question, would we even outspeed at that point? Okay, there was this set over here. I don't think I would outspeed. Let me give myself a 33 lead as well. Let's see if this works out. Okay, I am faster, but we're not killing. Also, the Sonya on the enemy team is, or my Sonya in this case, is not super fast. So at 230 Sonya, you would definitely not out. Let's see how much I can do if I add a proper Swift set to it. Okay, adding a little bit more speed to the unit, 234 speed, little bit more attack, little bit less on crit damage. This is gonna probably hurt. This is also really the point where, do you really need a will set at this point? No, you do not. We just add more speeds to it. Yep, more speeds, more crit damage. Yep. We did just kind of ruin your set by a little bit. Let's give you a rune to compensate. Can't really do the same amount of... Well, let's actually make it slightly more tanky, just for the sake. We'll give this rune over here, which is a little bit more HP than the previous one. Of course, very low on the attack, but just for testing purposes. And then this thing is a 406. It already shows 406 on this. That is just stupid. Okay, let's see. Can you one-shot? 23k. Still does not one-shot, however. Also, we don't take jack shit damage from this thing in the first place. But yeah, that's how much stats you need for a one-shot on the first hit that you do right away. If you do damage on the right element, I'm pretty sure we could make it. Or if you start off with a speed buff, but who's gonna outspeed you to give a speed buff in the first place? Yeah, something like this would work. Because in the end, we're crazy fast, but we don't have that speed buff just yet, which is definitely a big downfall. Okay, now it is enough. I'm actually kind of curious. Can you derp? I kind of want to keep my speed buff. Let's just get the speed buff back pretty soon. That shouldn't take too long. Let's just hit you. Take you out for 41k. Jesus. I want to see the difference in having a damage with the speed buff. So should I lap this 28k similar as last time? Can we stun it or something? Well, it doesn't really matter as long as we just don't kill it. Death break not an issue. But he removed the death break in his proc. Still, okay, so that's why you see real big damage. And I'm pretty sure on the death break with the speed buff, this thing is gonna do upwards of like 70 or 80k. But then again, it is just by the sliver enough to snipe out the Sonya and potentially an Athena if you actually go damage on wind as well. It's really nice if you can. It is definitely good for the Bruiser setup to do it later on. But then the big question is, do you really want to give a 236 Shumar Swift set to just kill Sonyas and Athenas? I don't think so, but he's definitely funny. So guys, let me know in the comments how and where you're gonna use the Shumar. Thanks for watching for this one. See you as always in the next one.
Thanks for watching. If you would like to see more guides, join the Discord and check out the content tab for the guide video archive, which contains all of the guides that you might need. Hope to see you there.